All right, guys, we're up here upstairs, chilling with the dogs. Here is Mr. Tony again.
Hi guys, we're in the kitchen. We're going to go ahead and start here and then just move around the house. We'll go through the bedrooms and so forth, and then the master, and end up in the garage, and then we'll go outside. So in the kitchen, a couple things. I just want to make sure I'm testing all your devices, running everything through a regular cycle. You have all GE appliances except for your refrigerator, which is a Bosch. I am taking some information from the sticker as well, just to run it through a quick recall scan, just to make sure none of these have been recalled for you. And then also every outlet here should be GFCI, which is ground fault circuit interrupter. Anything that's 3 feet in a welt location. So 2 amber lights is a properly wired circuit. So that's what we should see on the little tester. This outlet is actually a little loose. We'll put that in there for them to tighten that up. So if we drew a fault, let's say a toaster falls in a full basin of water, you went to grab it, this simulates that fault, and then it should kill the electricity right there at the source. And so all 3 of these outlets will trip to this back GFCI, just so that you know. So if you have no power there, then of course that is where it's going to be controlled. And then there are 2 other outlets with another GFCI on this back wall. So just make sure that you're aware of that. All right, so typical plumbing standard and building code, hot's on the left, cold's on the right. Just want to make sure everything works. You might want to clean the sprayer or change the sprayer out. And then also underneath the kitchen sink, I want to make sure that we have shut-off valves, that there's no drain leaks, there's no connection failure or any kind of leaks like that. And also this unit should have a shielded cable, which back there you can see that it does go through a conduit shielded cable. And there are some pressure arresters on the line, so it kind of controls that pulsing of the plumbing whenever you turn it on and off. There wasn't any leaks and everything was nice and secure as far as the counters go. The oven I won't show you just because they've got all these little trinkets and stuff up there, but if you grab on the back part of the stove and pull it forward, there should be an anti-tip device on the back. It's just a bracket, and that really should be installed. Nobody really ever installs those, but if you have kids, you have boiling water on the stove, kids could actually tip the stove over. So I just want to make sure the elements work, all the burners work, which it does, and then as far as the microwave for ventilation, and also again recall a center scan just to make sure we don't have any kind of recalls. And this unit actually is plugged into a designated circuit up here, which is required, so it has its own individual breaker. All right. Just because of the amount of amperage that it does pull. And again, all GE appliances except for the Bosch, and you do have plumbed water, so you do have an ice maker here, and this is actually plumbed, and you do have ice and water. All right. Looking for any of the items as we go through on a general basis from here on out. What we're going to be looking for are water spots, any kind of water intrusion, repair areas. All these are stomp ceilings, so if they did have a repair or painted a spot, or even just a water spot, it would stand out like a sore thumb. So if you ever tried to patch one of these stomp ceilings, it's almost next to impossible to match, so it would stand out. And of course we don't have another story above us, so really all this is just roof line and exposed roofing area. So we're going to especially pay attention to any areas that would have a gutter on them, which would be the exterior walls on any of the structure that we go through. Really looking for any ice damming. You got quite a bit of a pitch on this roof, so I wouldn't imagine that you'll ever have a problem with ice damming. But what we're going to look for is cracks in the corners, cracks above and below any of the window seals and cavity plates. Look for cracks in the windows, of course, any kind of fogging or moisture in between any of those layers, that they actually operate and lock and work. Making sure doors operate, lock, and work. Everything is just the way it should be. And if there's any failures in that, then I'm going to note those, of course. So let's move on through here. So this is your open area for a living room. You have a fireplace. And so I'll explain a little bit to you on the fireplace. The front drops down when we went ahead and fired it up here. Of course, this is the gas shutoff, and so we have it on, of course, and there is another gas shutoff that is in there. And you can notice that, maybe, I don't know if James can show you or not, there's no real pilot light or anything that you can really adjust. There's a fan control up underneath there, and then also a flame control. And this is a intermittent lighting system, which means that there isn't a standing pilot light, that it will only light whenever you're calling for heat. And then these two buttons over here will control the ignition and also the blower. All right, so you can notice that the blower and the flame are off. So once it gets hot enough, the blower will work. And then you just turn it on, and of course, an instant fire, right? Yay! All right. Okay, now this area also has skylights. So I almost always tell people it's not a matter of if, it's when they leak. They almost all leak. However, I didn't see any leaks in these. So that's a really good sign, especially at the lowest part of the skylight, the roof pitch, coming down this way. We see some sort of stains up through this cavity. I'll get a small little pointer out. So we'd see some sort of stains in this area here, and of course it would run down this framing on either side. And sometimes this is a little high, but we'd almost see some staining right here at the very edges of these, which I didn't see on either side of these skylights. So that's a good sign. They're all insulated in the roof as well, or in the attic space. So it's a little difficult to see in the attic space for any kind of leaks. You would just want to look around the top part of the flashing for leaks. In the rest of this area, I am checking all your electric. So just like we had in the kitchen, plug in the small little tester in to make sure we have 2 amber lights. Anything different than that on this tester would reverse, like reverse polarity, open neutral, open ground, reverse hot. And I didn't see any issues with any of the electric inside the house. And no other water stains in this area for the living room either. So no issues here. Okay, so moving into this area between the bedrooms, you do have hardwired smoke detectors in all of the bedrooms, and you also do have one here in the hallway, just because if the bedroom doors are closed, it wouldn't reach those smoke detectors. So we need something in the hallway, and so both hallways have that. So that's a good thing. All right, so these hardwired smoke detectors are in all the bedrooms. Like I said, if one goes off, they all go off. They will still require a battery backup. And so in the bedrooms, we won't spend a whole lot of time in the bedrooms here. Same things that we were looking for really in the dining room that were explained: cracks in the corners, cracks above and below any of the window dressings and seals and cavities, cracks in windows, moisture in between the layers, checking all your electric, looking for water spots, stains, patches, repairs, checking to make sure all the lights and all the switches work, fan and light, and even closet light. Looking especially in the closet. This one seemed like it had a little problem turning on. So the bulb might need to be replaced in here, but it does have a light. I think they're finally popped on. So,
yeah, there we go.
Looking for stains, and of course it looks like they're still trying to move out a little bit. So no issues really truly in here. I did leave all the window blinds up so that we could just verify that there wasn't really any kind of cracks or issues with the windows as far as a visual inspection. But I did open and close and make sure they all locked. Same way with the door, just making sure it as well is going to shut and lock and latch. Looking for some settling issues. If it was hung correctly, then it would have a, not a large gap. It wouldn't drag or rub. So some signs of settling that way. All right. Take a look at the other bedroom. 2 hallway closets that are just enough for storage and like linens and things like that. So nothing big there. So for this bedroom as well, so just making sure everything works. Of course, smoke detector, looking inside the closets to make sure we're not missing any kind of stains. Again, the windows just fully extended on the blind to make sure we're not missing anything. And along any kind of exterior wall, we're looking for ice damming or any just general patches or repairs, checking your electric. And not really much to talk about in these bedrooms just because there's nothing there, really.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah. All right. Bathroom. So of course we do have a light and also an exhaust that is plumbed outside of the structure, so we want to make sure that that is plumbed outside. You do have GFCI protection here for the outlet. We just want to make sure, again, you have plenty of pressure. Hot's on the left, cold's on the right, where your mechanicals work here. Shut-off valves and no drain leaks, especially whenever I see a catch container underneath or close to the area of the drain, but I just want to make sure it was nice and dry, which it is. Couldn't produce a leak out of that, and so it all looks in really good shape. And then the toilet. For both of the toilets, I want to make sure that the guts inside look decently new. For the most part, the flapper doesn't have any issue or any kind of mechanical failure there. That of course it flushes and it's nice and tight to the floor flange, and that there's no leaks on the flange or any kind of leaks at the tank seal, and also that has a shut-off valve. For your shower and tub, just want to make sure that your stopper does work. We just flushed the toilet, so a little bit of lower pressure, but that you got plenty of pressure and everything's sealed. Now, one thing I want to say, you do have a basement here. Of course, the subfloor could get wet, but there is a seal for this tub that looks like it is starting to come apart from the floor, and we definitely don't want to have water just kind of running through, wetting the subfloor, and if you did have a finished basement, it would wet those ceiling tiles, things like that. So this is an area that maybe you might want to ask them to repair or seal, or you can do it yourself. Some homeowners don't do the best of the job as far as the quality goes, so I don't know if you want to ask them to actually reseal that or not. All right, let's move on to the master. All right, so in any of these areas here, especially these transition areas, they'll crack. I was glad to see that this is actually not cracking here. Looking for any other signs inside the foyer, just to make sure we don't have any signs of water leakage, even in the front closet, just to make sure we don't have anything there, which there really wasn't anything. Of course, this is your control for a thermostat for the furnace and AC, which works and operates perfectly fine. We'll go ahead and hit the laundry room here real quick. So I want to make sure that, of course, you do have water flow. If you didn't have these units in here to be able to test, just want to make sure this rotary valve isn't going to be leaking, that you do have actually hot and cold, a grounded outlet, and that there is correct power for the 220. There's going to be 3 legs here. You're going to get 110, 110, and 220 off of that leg. So I would be testing that with just testers other than really having it just plugged in. You do have a lavatory here, just the same thing again. Just want to make sure that there's shut-off valves, no leaks, operates and everything is perfectly fine. Hops on the left, cold on the right, the way it should be. The outlet, other than the washer that is listed on the wall, is required to be GFCI, so you do have GFCI here. And again, no leaks or anything else inside this space. All right, for the master, so again, we opened up all the blinds just to be able to see. Smoke detector, vaulted ceiling. Just want to make sure as far as any kind of separation, gaps at the apex or any water, ice damming or anything like that's going to happen, or patches or repairs. Didn't see anything like that. This little section in the front kind of jettisons outside of the exterior of the brick. So sometimes this flashing will fail and it will lead to water intrusion spots and stains, but didn't see anything like that. House is kind of new still, so 15 years is hardly anything for a house. Everything looks in good shape with the bedroom, and then as far as a squeaky floor, it's right through here, so squeaks a little bit. A little bit of use. This is the main traffic way, and probably just the subfloor that's rubbing on those joists. You have an outlet over here on this side of the sink is tied to this GFCI as well. So of course we want to make sure we have those in a wet location. Again, filling up both basins, everything works as far as the mechanicals go. Again, shut-off valves, making sure there's no drain leaks or supplies. Same way with the toilet, just making sure that the guts are in good shape. Shut-off valve that's nice and secure. Both of them are Gerber toilets, and the shower has plenty of pressure as well. And they're wasn't any issues with any mold or mildew or moisture buildup. Of course, we have an exhaust that's easily to be turned on, so why someone wouldn't use it, I have no idea. So, and of course, the shower, this just has to pull out and then turn, but plenty of pressure. Just might want to change the head spray. After a while, a lot of stains and deposits, calcium stains, things like that, and also deposits will clog those filters. And just a quick walk-in closet for your master. And so we just want to make sure that there's no stains in here either, settling issues, and no window really. So, and I didn't see any outlet in here. So sometimes there's an outlet, might be hiding on me, but I don't see an outlet. We can head out to the garage, I guess.
Yeah, we can make that part of the exterior video. So we'll wrap up in here, guys, and head out to the garage, and we'll start with the garage and the outside.